Why haven't I gotten my stimulus check? We're going to give you 6 reasons why that check hasn't arrived at your door. Hey everyone, I'm Clayton Morris, longtime real estate investor. On this channel, we help you build financial intelligence so you can become financially free. We teach you how to build wealth, start a business. So if the stimulus brought you to this channel, please subscribe because I think it might change your life. You could learn all the strategies that I use to build wealth and build a business. All right, let's talk about maybe one of the reasons why you haven't got your stimulus check just yet. According to the IRS just saying, look, tell your audience that we do not have your bank account information on file. It could be as simple as that. Now, I've heard from many of you who've left me a comment, so please leave me a comment below where you've said, I haven't gotten my stimulus check. Where do I put this information in on the computer to give them my information? Now, I've repeatedly told you how to do this. I want to make sure and be very clear on how to do this. You need to go to irs.gov, and if you haven't filed your taxes before and they don't have this information on file, they're not going to have your bank account information. So if you don't file your taxes electronically with the IRS and you work with a third-party provider, or you haven't had to file your taxes for a number of years, they're not going to have your bank account information. You need to go to the non-filers tab at irs.gov and you need to input your current bank account information. There you can even request that they mail you a paper check or get you direct deposit. Now we should say that 14 million Americans simply don't have a bank account. Those people are known as the unbanked. And so if you don't have a bank account, you can still go to the non-filers tab and request that a paper check is sent out to you. But again, if they don't have any information on file, they're not going to do anything. You need to be proactive here and go to the website to file. The next one might seem pretty obvious, but the second reason why you might not have gotten your stimulus check is you simply make too much money. I've been hearing from a lot of you, again, in the comments that are over that income threshold, and you're wondering where your check is. And I've had to break the news to you that, sorry, you make too much money. So what is that threshold? Well, here are the numbers. Again, under the CARES Act, you would get $1,200 if you were an individual making below $75,000 and up to $99,000, and it's staggered from there, $75,000 up to $99,000, and $2,400 if you were earning under $150,000 up to $198,000, and you'd get $500 for each child that you have. So remember, it would be tiered. So $75,000 is the start of that tiering process where they would take less, they would give you less money. So that decline is $5 for every $100 above $75,000 that you make, and it would go up to $150,000. So if you go above $75,000, you would start to lose $5 for every $100 you make above that amount, and that's how they start to whittle that money back. And anyone making over $99,000 simply doesn't qualify. You don't make that money, you're not getting a stimulus check. But there is a caveat, and that's taxes. So if you don't qualify right now because you made too much money in 2019, you could still apply for this stimulus next year and get it back next year if you got hit hard this year and you're out of work. So 2019 may look great on paper, right? Now you're out of work in 2020 and this year sucks. So next year, you can still get access to the stimulus on your taxes next year. Just make sure you remember that, write that down, talk to your CPA. So you may still get access to it if you're not making enough money right now. The third reason that you aren't getting a stimulus check, again, I've heard from many of you. I got a great question this morning from a listener who said, I am taking care of my mother. She is a dependent of mine. Is she going to get a stimulus check? I'm listed as a dependent of mine. The answer is no. She will not get a stimulus check. If she is listed as a dependent, dependents are not receiving stimulus checks, even though she's 75 years old. It doesn't matter. If she's a dependent, or if your child is a dependent over the age of 17, not getting a stimulus check. So a lot of college kids that are home right now, living under mom and dad's roof, they're listed as dependents. Sorry, 17, 18-year-old, you're not getting a stimulus check. Again, this comes with a caveat. So for instance, let's say I'm a dad and I claimed my 19-year-old son, who I don't have a 19-year-old son, but let's say I'm a dad and on my 2019 tax returns, I claimed my 19-year-old son as my dependent because he's living at home and I'm taking care of him. Okay, this 19-year-old would not get the stimulus. However, because of the way we file our taxes, he could get access to the stimulus next year. Even though it'd be 1 year later, he would get that $1,200 next year because if his dad is not claiming him as a dependent in that calendar year, in 2020. So again, we're right now in 2020, but because of the way he filed his taxes last year, it has implications on the way he receives the money this year. So he could get that check next year. I know it's confusing, but we're always paying our taxes the year after the year we're filing, right? So 2021 is going to look a lot different for a lot of people who are out of work. The fourth reason that you might not be getting your stimulus check is because of computer glitches. We're hearing of all kinds of problems, folks. We knew that there were delays on some printing. We knew that some of the software at the IRS was running behind. We're also hearing from H&R Block that the IRS has its clients' banking information, and the IRS basically saying, we don't have H&R Block's banking information, and they're having to use these third-party intermediaries. And one example, H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt have those prepaid cards, and both said they're working to make sure that all their customers get their money they're entitled to. But the IRS says they're creating confusion by this because they're not using clients' final destination bank accounts. They're using those intermediary banks from H&R Block and Jackson Hewitt and the other one. I can never remember the other one. So Jackson Hewitt is telling their customers to update their direct deposit information on the IRS's Get My Payment tool. So if you're using one of those Emerald cards or you're using one of those Jackson Hewitt accounts, don't do that. Go to the IRS's website, go to the Get My Payment options and put in your new bank account information. That way they have this on file and they can get that right to you. All right, the fifth reason you might not be getting a stimulus check is because of debt collectors. Yeah, that's right, folks. If you have debt or if you owe child support, guess who's going to get that money before you will? That's right, the child. And good for them. Good on them. If you're behind on child support payments and not protecting those children, guess what? The federal government's saying that money is going to go right to the child. But the CARES Act also does not prevent private debt collectors from coming after seizing these stimulus checks that suddenly appear in a bank account. So if you owe somebody, if there's a default judgment against you or a judgment against you, and you've got a company sort of monitoring that bank account, waiting for money to hit that account, and $1,200 suddenly goes into that account, guess what? It's going to go right to them if that account is seized. There are some ways to protect yourself against this, which is to go on IRS's website and ask for a paper check and then go cash it instead of putting it into one of these seized bank accounts. So be very careful about that. You know, if you have some sort of garnishment right now and you're hoping and praying that that money will actually hit your account, I wouldn't be hoping and praying. I would actually be waiting for a paper check, go and cash it, make it out as cash, and do not put it into that bank account. There are some areas, some states plus Washington, D.C. and several other cities right now are enacting orders that is preventing garnishment of stimulus checks. We heard about that in Chicago. You know, like if you owe a back parking ticket in Chicago, city of Chicago saying, we're going to let you go on this. We're not going to come after your money to pay an old parking ticket right now. Good for them. But right now it's a patchwork and there's no national order for garnishment right now with this stimulus law. And the sixth reason that you might not be getting a stimulus check is because of your immigration status. Let me go through some of this. It could be complicating matters. The government is paying the stimulus checks to U.S. citizens, and those checks are also going to certain categories of non-U.S. citizens right now. This includes legal permanent residents who are here, also known as green card holders, according to the IRS. But still, if someone has a green card application that's pending, they may not be getting a stimulus check until that green card application is approved, and not anytime soon, because these immigration laws right now, these offices are all closed. So if you've got a green card application that's in process right now, my heart goes out to you. These things are closed right now. And they're probably not going to be reopened until June 3rd is what we're hearing. Also, Immigration Lawyers Association said they had like a client ready for a green card interview on March 15th, and the government closed its offices on March 14th. And so they're stuck. They're stuck in this weird sort of legal limbo. They've been here, they've got a green card pending, but they don't have access to the stimulus check. Again, here's a little caveat. If a spouse was married to a green card holder and present in the United States before they received their permanent residence status, they should be getting they should be getting a check. But if someone married a green card holder afterward, they wouldn't be getting the same benefit. They would not be getting the same benefit. So, a lot of caveats here, folks, but these are 6 different reasons why you may have not received a stimulus check if you've been scratching your head looking at your bank account every day. Again, we have a full video on the dates and times of when these checks will be made available, so go and check that video out so you can find out exactly when a check should be arriving at your door. And please subscribe and give me a like. Give me a nice big thumbs up if I provided some value here on this channel. And we'll see you next time, everyone.